Hi, I'm Heidi from Daltons. Today I'm joined by Gerard Martin from Kings Seeds, and we're going to be talking about seed sowing.
With sowing seeds, you've got to work with nature rather than against nature.
Yeah.
So plants generally prefer to grow during the warmer months of the year.
Yeah.
So in most parts of the country, we're looking at the spring window of opportunity for sowing seeds. So if you're in the northern areas, maybe in early September, you're going to be sowing things, and maybe if you're down south or inland, a bit later, a few weeks later, once the temperatures have warmed up and your night temperatures are a bit higher. So there's not so much of a gap between night and day temperatures. Plants that have a root on them, like let's say radishes, beetroots, carrots, parsnips, turnips, Swedes, you'd sow them all directly into the garden. You'd also sow directly into garden items that are bigger seeds, maybe like peas and beans, although they can be transplanted as well. They're a hardier plant and can handle the cooler weathers and if sown at the right time of year. Yep. And it's easier to thin a row of, say, radishes or beetroots out than to transplant them in.
You're going to need a good quality seed raising mix. Fresh is best. Don't use anything that's been sitting around in the cupboard for the last few years or the last few months. That's going to probably contain some nasties in it. We don't want to do that. We want it to be fresh. And don't use potting mixes. You really need to use a seed raising mix.
Fresh seeds,
that's really
clean equipment, and
yes.
General nursery hygiene is important, so that you're not working in a dirty environment, even though you are working with dirt as such.
Yeah.
But to maintain hygiene with the area that you're working in, both for yourself and both for the seeds that you're sowing. Dispense the seed out of the packet rather than putting your hands or fingers into a packet. The three factors that make seed germinate is heat, light and moisture, so you store them the opposite way, cool, dark and dry.
Perfect. Might be a little bit different than ones that you buy in the shops, but this one has drainage holes in the bottom. So when you're going to be applying the mix, obviously it's going to fall through. So you want to make sure that you've got a layer of newspaper in there. So next we have our seeds ready to go. We've got our spritzer, we've got our water, we've got our labels. Very important. So we've got our gloves on. How much do we want to get in there?
About 2/3. Getting it even and tamp it down.
Right
to the edges.
Fill those edges in and get it nice and flat. So we'll just give it a bit of a spritz.
If you give it a bit of a squirt with water now, it'll stop seeds rolling around on the surface as well, because they just stick and hold there a bit better.
Because they're so dry.
They're so dry.
Okay.
So a general rule of thumb with seed sowing is that you never sow a seed deeper than twice its diameter.
Right.
So fine seed is sown on the surface and pressed in. Deeper seed can be pushed down under the surface.
Right.
So in the case of, say, a broad bean, which is quite a big flat seed,
Yep.
you might even press it down to the depth of your first knuckle on your finger.
Yeah. So is it better to do rows? Obviously with bigger seeds, it's probably a bit better to do rows because you have more control over.
Yep.
Do they have to be even distance apart?
It helps if when you're transplanting that you've got an even root mass around it when you're taking them out.
That's that. So now we obviously want to cover them with some seed mix. Just push that back over.
When you find that, for example, with peas or beans in that case, when they take moisture on, they can double in size and they will in effect push themselves out of the dirt.
Oh, right.
So if that happens, all you do is just add a little bit more dirt around the tops of them and they'll just to recover them. Lettuce seed is very fine. Quite often in a packet of seeds, you might have 1,000 seeds in here. And you don't need to be sowing 1,000 at any one time. That's just a bit of an overkill.
A little bit.
So if you can dispense a few out, in this case I've probably got, I'm going to say about 50 seeds. And using a small container like this allows you to dribble it out a lot more even.
We don't have to do a trench for this either this time? No.
No, lettuce seed is very fine. We'll just put a marker stick in. Putting some seed raising mix over the top, it helps maintain the moisture level at the seed level and stop it drying out.
So we'll give that a little bit of a spray.
Watering in the morning is better. If you're watering seedling trays or pots at night, you're creating an environment where fungi and mildews can settle. So it doesn't matter if seed trays are a bit drier overnight, but they're better to be moist during the day. That's when all the transpiration is taking place. Moisture and warmth are the two factors that we're trying to control a bit more. So to look at wrapping it somehow, whether that's with a cling film over the top, even a piece of newspaper will help.
Can you use glass? Or
you can use glass, or perspex would be another good option. The key with good seed germination is a consistency of warmth. So you don't want the highs of the day and the lows of night. To have an even temperature all the way through is a good idea. So that during the day you're going to have it somewhere warm and sunny, and at night you'll bring your pots inside to maintain that even warmthness to them.
Thanks so much, Gerard, for joining us today and sharing some of your knowledge and experience. It's been fantastic.
It's been a pleasure, Heidi.
So we hope that you've learned lots of tips and tricks and now have the confidence to go and do a little bit of seed sowing at home yourself, get the kids involved, and happy gardening.